there's a couple experiences, but tell me about you. You're probably go ahead.
I've lived in Colorado all my life. And
Should we put her up on the stage?
He's got the mic.
I don't know if we can reach.
I've lived in Colorado all my life and was conceived and born on a uranium mine in Uray, Colorado. Didn't know anything was going on. About 25 years old and strange things started happening. Didn't know. I don't like medical profession, so I didn't really go talk to them about it. Then in '93, my sister said, she is a nurse, and she said, you either have Parkinson's or MS. And I was like, no, I don't. And so I went to the doctor. Yeah, you do. And so it's been 20 years that I've been working on mostly natural remedies, chiropractic, anything I could find. And November 24th, I got my PurZ and started. At home, I usually use a walker and do pretty well with that, but for any distance, I'm in a wheelchair. And November 24th, I got my PurZ and I started using it. I was muscle tested for 11 drops a day, 4 times a day for 4 days. And then I went back to the 10 drops twice a day. And now, I can stand up. I said, I can stand up. I can't believe in what they just said on the stage. I'm just falling.
Don't do that. So we'll just do a couple more experiences, and while we've got one coming up here, I'll touch on this a little bit later. That I mentioned yesterday. The formulation for PurZ is going to change a little bit. Kent's team has done a lot of research. You saw the brain benefits. There's a little technology that they've been working on that you can add to the zeolite molecule. That you can combine a little vitamin C with it that actually attaches to the molecule, which creates an additional binding site. That vitamin C has a very high affinity for vitamin C receptors on your brain. Absorption increases dramatically in the brain and central nervous system. So what you guys have seen as far as PurZ now is going to get a little bit of an upgrade. And this upgrade has never been seen before in the entire industry, because every zeolite person out there doesn't know that this is possible.
I was chatting with Clayton last night, and we were talking, and I didn't stand up when, I think it was Rick said, had anyone had any experience, and they'd noticed a difference with the product. And I really thought, well, I've been taking it, but I really hadn't noticed anything. And as I chatted with Clayton, I realized, oh my goodness, I had an aha moment. I had an experience. I had something happen with VizPur. I do a 90-minute practice in Bikram yoga 3 times a week. And if you've ever done Bikram yoga, the room is 180 to 120 degrees. So you're going to sweat a lot. And it's a 90-minute practice. And a couple weeks ago, and I normally just take my energy, and when it's complete, always before I do my practice. And so when I got the PurZ, I started adding that to my regimen. Well, a couple of days ago, I took it, and I went to my practice, and I rolled out my mat, and there's a little mat that goes on top for your perspiration. And I thought, what the heck? I kept looking around the room. I kept thinking, what the heck's going on? How come I'm sweating like a beast? I kept looking around, no one else. I mean, I had water rolling off my body. And I thought, what's going on? What's wrong with me? Am I sick? And I kept looking at it, thinking, no one else is sweating like that. I must be really, really hot or something. So, and I normally, because it is warm, I have a bottle of that I pair of the essential oils of peppermint and eucalyptus. And I thought, well, this will slow down the perspiration. And it just got worse and worse. By the time I got done with my practice, I had worked so hard that my mat and my clothes, I mean, you could wring them out. And people were looking at it, that's what with her. Well, I went home and I toweled off, and I was really tired. And I thought, well, I'm just going to lay down for a few minutes. So I laid down in my bed, and I fell asleep for about an hour. And then I got up, went and showered, came back, and I pulled the sheets back. And much to my surprise, I thought, oh, these black, there was this black outline on my sheets. And I thought, what the heck is that? Where'd that come from? I had no idea that that was actually toxins that had come off my body. While I was at hot yoga, all those toxins had actually surfaced on my skin. And this is after I'd already toweled off. And I had laid down, and there was an imprint of my body in a pattern that you could see. I pulled the sheets off, and I tried to scrub it off. I had to bleach it off. I mean, I washed my sheets twice. That's how hard, how dark and yucky it was. Anyway, PurZ does work.
So there's one or two more testimonies that come on. They know what they're doing as far as science. So these guys are pretty bright, and we get to work with some really high-level scientists. I'll give you one other testimonial since everybody's being quiet. As you've seen on the Real Zeolite website, there's a lot of audio. There's going to be all the videos. I think they're going to be available in the back office. I did a radio interview a couple months ago, and we did a call for military veterans. And we donated some product to them because, I mean, it's a big deal. And we had one gentleman that's I think he's in Minnesota. He and his wife are very naturopathic. They grow their own vegetables. They're very organic. They do tons of supplementation. He had Agent Orange when he was in Vietnam. So he's had a lot of issues with that, continually. He's like, I have tinnitus as well. Will this help with my tinnitus? I'm like, well, what's the tinnitus from? He's like, well, when I was in the Army, I stood behind a jet when they fired up the engine, and I blew out both my eardrums. I'm like, well, you know what? We're probably not going to have a lot of help with that, because that's more physical. So he's been using the product for about 5 months. And my partner followed up with him to see how he was doing, to check in. His wife's written a couple articles in their local community about how great the product was, which has been really cool. He's like, I absolutely love this stuff. I was like, well, what have you noticed? He's like, well, I've lost 55 pounds in the last 5 months. And we're like, yeah, that's an effect. So, it's a process. It's a matter of time, like Ken's touched on. It's passive, it's systemic, and you can go as quick or as slow as you want, and it's a long term.